Hi everyone. Today let us talk about respiration. We have already learnt about nutrition as the first life processes, and today I'll be talking about the second life processes, respiration. So to start with, what is respiration? The process by which living organisms utilizes the food, or it can be also the carbohydrates, to derive energy is called respiration. Mitochondria is the site of respiration and glucose is called the respiratory substrate. So, respiration is the process by which living organism utilizes the food or carbohydrates also you can tell to derive energy is called respiration. Mitochondria is the site of respiration and glucose is called the respiratory substrate. When we start with respiration, first let us have an idea about what are the differences between respiration and photosynthesis. Photosynthesis we have already discussed in nutrition. So let us have a quick look of what are the differences between photosynthesis and respiration. Photosynthesis takes place in the green cells, that is the cells having chloroplast, whereas respiration takes place in all living cells. It takes place during the daytime, whereas respiration takes place throughout the life of an organism even before it is born. Because photosynthesis takes place only during daytime when there is availability of sunlight, whereas respiration is something which takes place throughout the life of an organism, throughout the life even before the organism is born. Energy is stored in the process of photosynthesis, whereas energy is released in the process of respiration. Energy is stored means it is endargonic in nature, whereas energy is released, as we have already talked about in the definition, that in respiration energy is released by the breakdown of the carbohydrate. And so energy is released, it is exergonic in nature. In photosynthesis, carbon dioxide and water are used up, or they are the main ingredients or the raw materials for photosynthesis, whereas in respiration the raw materials are food, that is glucose or carbohydrate, and oxygen. So this food and oxygen are used up or are being used for the release of energy in respiration. Next is food and oxygen are produced. What are the end products of photosynthesis? It is food, that is glucose or carbohydrate, and oxygen is also liberated, if you remember from what we have studied in nutrition. But in respiration, it is carbon dioxide and water are produced as a byproducts or the end products along with energy. Photosynthesis is an anabolic process, that is photosynthesis is actually a process which prepares something, it anabolizes, whereas respiration is a catabolic process, that is a thing is being destroyed, a thing is being broken down, that is called catabolism. So photosynthesis is an anabolic activity or which is produced, that is produced, whereas respiration is catabolic activity, that is it is broken down to achieve something, to derive something. In photosynthesis, dry weight of the organism is increased as food is produced, so the dry weight of the organism increases, whereas in respiration, the dry weight is decreased because food is broken down for the release of energy for all the other various activities. And finally, the enzymes for photosynthesis are located in chloroplast. The enzymes of photosynthesis are located in chloroplast, that is in chloroplast, whereas enzymes for respiration are located in mitochondria, because mitochondria is the site of respiration and chloroplast or green cells, the cells having chloroplast or the pigment chlorophyll, are the site for photosynthesis. So these are the basic 8 differences between photosynthesis and respiration, which are very important from the exams or the exams point of view. Now we have an idea about the process of respiration as well as the process of photosynthesis, because I have discussed about the differences between photosynthesis and respiration. But when we talk of breathing and respiration, breathing is a part of respiration. The first step of respiration is called breathing. followed by while breathing, the end product that we get, that is oxygen, that oxygen is passed on to the blood. The blood carries this oxygen to every cell of our body, and with this oxygenated blood, or with this oxygen, every cell undergoes the process of cellular respiration in mitochondria, which is also called the powerhouse of the cell. Now, so let us take a glance, or let us take a look about the differences, or get to know what are the basic differences between respiration and breathing, because many a times it so happens that we all confuse respiration with that of breathing. Breathing just involves the taking in and giving out. It is the taking in of the air, or taking in of oxygen, and giving out of carbon dioxide. Rest of the process also involved, there is also so many other processes that is happening which also involves in respiration. So let us have a quick look at what is the differences between respiration and breathing. Breathing is a process of inhaling and exhaling air out of the lungs, which I've just been telling, whereas respiration is a process of breakdown of glucose for the release of energy. It takes place in the lungs, and it takes place in all living cells. It takes place only in lungs, it takes place in all living cells. Breathing is a physical voluntary process, that is, it is under our control, whereas respiration is a chemical involuntary process. So that process is not under our control. We cannot control the process of respiration. No energy is produced during the process of breathing. No energy is produced, whereas during the process of respiration, energy is produced, and this energy is later utilized for the other activities. And the last difference is an extracellular process, as it occurs outside the cells. It is an extracellular process. It takes place in the alveoli, which I'll be discussing later. In the alveoli of the lungs, it takes place, the exchange of these gases. In the process of breathing, the exchange of gases takes place, and it takes place in alveoli, whereas respiration is an intracellular, that is, it happens within the cells. Cellular process, as it occurs inside the cell. It occurs inside the mitochondria of a cell. The mitochondria is also known as the powerhouse of the cell. So this is an intracellular, this is an extracellular process, and this is a intracellular process. So these are the basic differences between respiration and breathing. So if we know this, we are not going to ever confuse with breathing with respiration, which we most commonly do. Next, we're going to deal upon how the respiration in plants and human beings takes place. So now we are going to talk about, or we are going to know a little bit about respiration in plants. Previously, I have already discussed about the differences between respiration and breathing, and also have discussed between the differences of photosynthesis and respiration. To start with respiration in plants, how do we define respiration in plants? It is the process in which complex organic substances like carbohydrates, they are broken down for the release of carbon dioxide and water. This is the equation for respiration, that is C6H12O6 plus 6O2 gives 6CO2 plus water plus energy. The energy that is being released is used for the other various activities of the plants. This is similar in the case of human beings also. This is the energy that we are getting, or that we use up for the other various activities. Which are the most actively respiring regions of the plants, if you have to know about, or if you have to think of, these are basically the flower buds, the apexes, the root, shoot apices, the germinating seeds, the vegetative, the floral parts. They are all the most actively respiring parts of a plant. Plants take in oxygen through the small pores present on the leaves. They are called the stomata. I have already discussed how the stomata opens and closes in my previous video when I have discussed about nutrition. So I am not going to talk about stomata over here. So, and the carbon dioxide and oxygen are exchanged in diffusion. But when the stomata opens, it depends what exchange is taking place. It depends upon which part of the day the stomata is opening. If the stomata is open during the day, then oxygen is released, as the carbon dioxide which is produced during the course of photosynthesis is carbon dioxide which is produced during the course of respiration is used up during photosynthesis. So only the oxygen is being released which is produced during photosynthesis. When it is during the night, there only carbon dioxide is released, because there is no photosynthesis taking place, as there is no light energy, no photosynthesis, so there is no use up of the carbon dioxide which is being produced from respiration. So only carbon dioxide is produced or released during the opening of the stomata at night, and so during the day it is only the oxygen is released, as carbon dioxide which is produced during respiration is used up in photosynthesis. So now we are going to talk about respiration in humans. Before talking about respiration in humans, I am going to talk about the types of respiration. What are the types of respiration and what happens in that type of these respirations? So there are two types of respirations. If we divide it, mainly there are two types: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. This is very common. I think most of us know about it, aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration, the name tells us that aerobic, it is in the presence of oxygen. So respiration that takes place in the presence of oxygen is called aerobic respiration. Anaerobic, anaerobic means the respiration that takes place in the absence of oxygen. So what is the basic differences that take place? One is aerobic and anaerobic, oxygen present and oxygen is absent. The next steps, both have the respiratory substrate or both works on the pyruvic acid. Aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration, the presence and absence of oxygen takes place after the glucose that is there is broken down into a 3-carbon compound called the pyruvic acid. Now from this pyruvic acid, if it is in the presence of oxygen, it is converted into carbon dioxide, water and energy. It is this 3-carbon compound is converted into carbon dioxide, which is a 1-carbon compound, water and energy. So this is a complete breakdown of the pyruvic acid. So the energy that is released, it is maximum. Well, in anaerobic respiration, the pyruvic acid is not broken down completely. The pyruvic acid is not broken down completely because there is no oxygen. So what are the two byproducts that we get when the pyruvic acid is broken down in the absence of oxygen? It can be either ethyl alcohol or lactic acid. It can be either ethyl alcohol or lactic acid. If ethyl alcohol is mostly done or mostly obtained during fermentation process, that is happens mostly in microbes like bacteria and yeast, whereas lactic acid is obtained in some microbes also and also in the muscle cells. This ethyl alcohol that is produced, that is the final product during fermentation. Lactic acid, we get a little bit more amount of energy, but that is also not a proper breakdown or complete breakdown of the pyruvic acid as we get in aerobic respiration. So the amount of energy is maximum that we get in aerobic respiration. It is lesser in anaerobic respiration as there is absence of oxygen. There are two types of products that is released. One is ethyl alcohol and another one is lactic acid. Ethyl alcohol, it happens mostly during fermentation in yeast and bacteria, whereas for lactic acid it happens in the muscle cells. Respiration in humans. When we talk about respiration in humans, it basically constitutes of 4 different steps or 4 different parts, which together as a whole is known as respiration. The first part of respiration in human beings can be told or is called breathing, followed by the exchange between the lungs and the blood, the exchange between the blood and the cell, and finally is the cellular respiration. Breathing, the exchange between the lungs and the blood, the exchange between the blood and the cells, and finally cellular respiration. When we talk of breathing, it is the intake of oxygen and giving out of carbon dioxide. That is the exchange of gases that takes place in the lungs. So what happens during the taking in of the oxygen or taking in of the air, the diaphragm and the muscles below the lungs, they contract, and so the area or so the chest cavity increases in size. Once it increases in size, immediately air from the outside passes through the nostrils and the trachea and it reaches the lungs. In the lungs, the passage gets divided into very small tubes which finally terminate into balloon-like structures. They are known as alveoli. Singular, they are called alveolus, and it contains extensive network of the blood vessels. This contains an extensive network of the blood vessels. This is where the exchange of gases takes place, and the oxygenated blood or the blood carrying the oxygen is taken up by the alveolar blood vessels. So the blood containing oxygen is taken up by the alveolar blood vessels, and this oxygen in the blood is being carried by a pigment called hemoglobin. And the oxygen that is being carried in the blood is carried by in a pigment with the help of a pigment, or the pigment in the blood that helps in carrying the oxygen is called hemoglobin. And it takes this oxygenated blood is taken to different parts of the body, and once the oxygenation or the exchange of gases has already taken place in the alveoli, then the diaphragm releases the muscle and the chest cavity gets smaller. So what happens automatically, the chest cavity decreases in size, so the air that is inside comes out through the nostrils, comes out through the windpipe, trachea and the nostrils, and is given out to the atmosphere. This is a deoxygenated blood, or this blood is mainly composed of carbon dioxide. This is the basic or the overall process of breathing that takes place. And now this oxygenated blood will go to different parts of the body, that is exchange between the lungs and the blood. Here the exchange, I have also talked about the exchange between the lungs and the blood. This oxygenated blood which the lungs taken or which the alveoli taking is given up to the mainstream blood. So the blood takes in this oxygenated blood to different parts of the body from the lungs, and there it reaches to every cell, from the blood, it reaches to every cells of the body. So that oxygenated blood from the alveoli is taken up and it reaches to every part of the body. Every part of the body means every organ, every part. Now every part is composed of tissues, and every tissue is composed of cells. So basically that oxygenated blood which is sent from the lungs reaches to each and every cell of the body for the next process of respiration. That is finally the cellular respiration takes place here. Respiration in humans. We have already discussed about breathing, exchange between the lungs and the bloods, and the exchange between the blood and the cells. Once the exchange between the blood and the cells, that is the blood sends or gives off the oxygenated blood to the cells. Now the cells have received the oxygenated blood. The cell already has the glucose in it. The cell has already got the glucose from the previous processes, that is nutrition. So this glucose in the presence of oxygen in the cytoplasm of the cell, it is broken down into pyruvate. Or the pyruvic acid, which is a 3-carbon molecule. Now this pyruvate, based on the availability of the oxygen, is broken down in 3 ways. Pyruvate, when it is completely broken down in presence of oxygen, it releases carbon dioxide, water and energy, and this is called the complete breakdown, and this is the byproducts, or this is the products what we get in aerobic respiration. Now many times it so happens our body requires more amount of energy, more than what has been produced here, or what has been produced from the aerobic respiration. So in that case, what the body does, our human body, it immediately, the muscular cells which has the pyruvate, it undergoes breakdown of the pyruvate or the pyruvic acid in absence of oxygen. In absence of oxygen, it starts its breaking down. It produces lactic acid and energy. Lactic acid is also a 3-carbon molecule, but the breakdown produces some amount of energy which is being provided or which has been given to the body for that particular moment. This we generally feel that when we are going for a workout, or when we are doing any kind of exercises like swimming, cycling, anything, we require a lot of energy, so this energy, sometimes it is not sufficient, the energy that we get in from aerobic respiration. So immediately our muscle cells, in order to provide us with that extra amount of energy, the pyruvate in that muscle cells are broken down in the absence of oxygen, because there is no time to get the oxygen from the blood through the process of breathing. So what happens, in absence of oxygen only, the pyruvate is broken down into lactic acid and energy to provide the immediate supplement of energy that is required by the body. This happens only in spatial time, when our body requires extra amount of energy due to some heavy workout or due to some heavy exercises. And another type of breakdown happens for the pyruvic acid, that is also in the absence of oxygen, that is mostly found in yeast or some microbes or bacteria, and this is the process of fermentation. In that, the pyruvic acid is broken down into ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy. Here also the energy that is produced, it is less than the energy, because this is not the complete breakdown of pyruvic acid or the 3-carbon molecule. It produces a 2-carbon molecule, so the energy produced is less than that in aerobic respiration. So this is aerobic respiration, and these both comes under anaerobic respiration. So we have dealt everything, we have mostly covered everything what we have to study in respiration for the chapter life processes. We have discussed about the differences between photosynthesis and respiration. We have discussed about the differences between breathing and respiration. We have discussed about the respiration in plants, how it takes place, when does the stomata open at night, what happens, when it opens at day, what happens. Then we have also studied about the types of respiration. We have studied about the steps in human respiration, and we have studied about breathing in humans, and we have also studied about the cellular respiration and how cellular respiration differs in different parts of the body. So that brings an end for the chapter, for the part respiration in the life processes. Please, if you have gone through any problem, any part you are not able to understand, please write or please put in the comment section and let me know, which I need to explain again. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.